You're listening to the CaribClimate Podcast, produced by the Investment Plan for the Caribbean Regional Track of the Pilot Program for Climate Resilience, funded by the Inter-American Development Bank through the Climate Investment Funds and implemented by the Project Management Unit of the University of the West Indies Mona Office for Research and Innovation. Dominica, the nature island of the Caribbean, known for its lush greenery, mountainous interior, sulfur springs, black sand beaches, home to 365 rivers and an indigenous Kalinago population. Like the rest of our Caribbean neighbors, Dominica has also suffered greatly from climate change. The damage done by Hurricane Maria and the threat of future hurricanes and other impacts loom in the face of one of the region's most beautiful islands. In this episode of the CaribClimate Podcast, we speak with Colin Guiste, Project Coordinator for the Disaster Vulnerability Reduction Program and focal point for the Dominica National PPCR project. Caribbean countries have a shared vulnerability to hurricanes. But what factors account for Dominica's vulnerability?
Okay, as we know that Dominica lies within the hurricane belt, and we have been impacted 6 months of the year by tropical cyclonic activities. So one of the most climate change challenges on Dominica is because Dominica's exposures to the hurricanes, tropical cyclones. Hence, that making Dominica very vulnerable to the impacts of climate change. Also, because our hurricanes lie within the center of the island and they run from north to south. In the center of the island, Dominica is being impacted by heavy rainfall because of the height of the mountain. Precipitation is very common in Dominica. Whenever that happens, because of the steep slopes, the lower elevation are impacted by fast-flowing water, which obviously enhances flooding. So this has made Dominica very vulnerable to the impacts of climate change and rainfall events.
In recent years, Dominica has taken a more active approach to climate resilience, moving away from just evidence-based reporting to implementation of projects to better manage climate risks.
The climate response was somewhat wasn't all that coordinated. Although we had the existence of the environmental coordinating unit, but across the board it wasn't all that captured because the environmental coordinating unit dealt with other aspects, other environmental issues. But the PPCR came into being, it gave a much more focus on disaster risk management, climate change, and its adaptation and mitigation measures. So the Disaster Vulnerability Reduction Project and the PPCR gave, I would say, a much more focused attention to sectoral impacts of climate change.
For Dominica, the climate response was prioritized as a development issue versus an environment challenge. In light of this, what initiatives did the national PPCR implement?
Okay, well, the PPCR, it focused on the four major components. The first component is the critical intervention in infrastructure, and that aspect focused on the road rehabilitation and reconstruction of roads and bridges, also slope stabilization, the construction of water storage tanks, 8 water storage tanks. As we speak now, there is the ongoing reconstruction of 29 kilometers of roads. The second component focused on data and data management and capacity building, where we the activities dealt with data capture. When we speak of data capture, we looked at activities such as undertaking the LiDAR, which is light detecting and ranging, topographic and bathymetric survey across the island, where it focused on, it looked at capturing data how it relates to rivers and the catchment areas that are prone to landslides, building footprints with the road network, forestry, and forest cover. We also, under this component also, we also focus on the development of the hydromet network. So not only the development of the network, but also the installation of the network and the construction of a new hydromet building. We also went about and developed what we call the Geothetic Network. This is a network that is being utilized by the survey community, surveyors. And what was being undertaken was to do the transformation of this network, to enhance the network so that the surveyors can derive the product in a much accurate and a much timely and precision fashion. So those were some critical interventions that were undertaken during this, the implementation of the PPCR.
The National PPCR project brought about improvements to data management and capacity. Stakeholders across the different sectors now experience faster and convenient access to data and improved ways to apply the data.
Okay. Well, first of all, as relates to the Geothetic Network, in the past, a task that would take the surveyors in Dominica to 1 month to undertake, like for instance, the development of maps and charts. Presently, it would take them about 2 days to undertake. So it has really enhanced the capacity and also the skill set. Presently, they don't have to go on the ground now to do this manual survey anymore. They can stay right at the desk and undertake this activity. So this is a great enhancement and also it has added to the efficiency in doing the work. But the LiDAR, which is the light detecting and ranging topographic topography, and also bathymetric survey that was being undertaken. Presently, charts have been generated based on the survey that was being carried, that was being undertaken. So this, for instance, the bathymetry, what it has done, we have collective data which is suitable and appropriate. For instance, if port is going to be constructed, so it gives the survey of and dynamics of the coastlines.
For shipping companies, LiDAR captures the depth of the near shore to avoid ridges and guide navigation in and out of ports. The data would also be made available for the construction of new port facilities. The LiDAR data has also been used to advance mitigation efforts. LiDAR surveys capture information related to forest cover and biomass. This information has been shared with other projects to generate a forest inventory. The PPCR project has helped Dominica to strengthen its commitments on climate change. In what ways have the initiative enhanced resilience at the national level?
What the PPCR has done is to move a step forward from the reporting to now implementation and demonstration. So far during the implementation of the PPCR, about 13 ministries and agencies has benefited because we have helped build capacities, whether it's human, also intellectual capacity within the various departments and ministries. So now they are better equipped. Like for instance, the water company, we went about and through the construction of 8 water storage tanks along the west coast. It's not only the water storage tank, but also distribution lines and also access road. So now what has happened is that the communities within the west coast are they have a much more reliable water source, and especially before, during, and after a rainfall event. So this has helped them in building resilience within the water sector.
The road rehabilitation project provides increased access to the east of the island. The works include 5 major bridges, numerous culverts, stabilizing walls, and other infrastructure to protect against heavy rains and floods. This brings more economic activity, connection to the indigenous Kalinago territory, which further stimulates tourism for the country.
The 29 kilometers of road is ongoing, and we expect, as we speak now, works have been undertaken on the ground. So it's 29 kilometers of road with 5 major bridges, numerous culverts, and slope stabilization, ring walls, and also head walls. And the road is going to be enlarged. Yeah, with the width is going to be enlarged. So that's passing through the Kalinago territory. So what we expect and anticipate during and after construction is that you're going to have, the communities are going to be served with improved road surface, which can assist them, we can enable them to, like for instance, because this road is within the agricultural belt of Dominica, so it will help enhance the farmers in transportation of the agricultural product from the farm to the market in a shorter space of time, and also with less impact on the product. Also, the road also traverses through the Kalinago territory. The Kalinago territory is the indigenous people in Dominica, which is a major tourist site. So this will also enhance the tourism product of Dominica. Like for persons coming on the ship, tourists visiting the area, they would have a much smoother ride when going to these areas.
Dominica has gained recognition for its valiant efforts in strengthening its disaster response and reducing vulnerability to climate change. Aside from physical infrastructure, significant progress has been made through the acquisition and use of climate data. Colin lists some achievements of the PPCR in contributing to this status.
Well, there are many achievements, but the major achievement is where do I start? Okay. I would say because is the installation of the hydromet system. The 36 stations are going to be installed in Dominica, and that encompasses will help strengthen the new Met Office building that have been constructed. All this information are going to be transferred through what we call nowcasting instantaneously. And so this will help enhance Dominica's early warning system. So this is a great achievement because, as you know, as I indicated earlier on, that Dominica is very vulnerable to the impacts of flash floods. So the stream gauges that are going to be installed in the upper area of the rivers would give this alert to the Met Office and the Office of Disaster Management within 5 to 10 minutes of an impending disaster. So the alert would be given, and they were able to take the precautionary measures that are necessary. So this is one of the achievements. Also, allow me to say that the person's involvement, the knowledge sharing, it's one of the greater achievements. In the past, a lot of persons, they would not have known what is Like for instance, the benefits of LiDAR data. And now the various departments like land and service, physical planning, the water company, DOAS group, even the electricity company, they are very much interested in getting this data that has been acquired from the LiDAR survey and also the bathymetry. So those are some major achievements that have been derived from some of the products.
Challenges with implementing initiatives are the underbelly of successful project achievements. In the case of the rehabilitation projects, the largest roadblocks were the extensive land acquisition processes in rural areas.
So we had to go through the process of doing the land survey to know persons that have a certificate of title, the process of the demarcation of the land after the design was undertaken, the design of the road. Then you have to go through the process of valuation of the property so that you can compensate the persons for the property, because you cannot encroach on the property without they have been paid. And once persons we go through the process of negotiation, there are persons that are going to be against the cost or the price of the land. There are some that are going to accept it. So this has been very challenging, and it's still ongoing as we speak now. So I think this has been the greatest challenge as it relates to the East Coast Road, that 29 kilometers of road.
Another hurdle which served as a major lesson learned was getting the community on board.
As it relates to, I would say, well, the other projects, like for instance, the construction of the water tanks, it's the buy-in, business perception, the community buy-in, because through all these processes we have to undertake consultation within the community to get them to buy into the concept, buy into the proposal, and because as we have told them that yes, the project has been undertaken, but we always want to get community involvement, community buy into it, and this has been somewhat of a challenge also, because a lot of persons do that. Sometimes they ask certain questions to which sometimes we don't have an answer. Sometimes we feel that sometimes, because as we have told them that no question is a stupid question, but one of the biggest questions that they will ask is climate change real? And everybody has a perception or the idea whether climate change is real or their interpretation of climate change. So when you're selling the product, it's like selling the product. It's like a salesman selling the product to a customer. And there are some that are for it and some that won't gravitate towards it. So this has been a significant challenge. The lesson that we have learned from implementing the project is it's always wise to have consultation, consult, yeah, and because never feel that people know it, like the persons or people they know it all, or there needs to be the engagement of the persons, because traditional knowledge sometimes we feel that we have all the tools. I feel it's to engineering, but traditional knowledge, it's very important, because these persons in the community, they understand the community better. So the engagement, it's vital. So this is a lesson that we have learned. Public awareness has to be continuous. It has to be a continuous process. Never feel that, okay, well, you have done your part, you have done enough. And feel that, okay, well, you can resign or retire or don't go out on the field and inform the public. Monitoring also and monitoring and reporting and evaluation of the project is a continuous process, and I think that this is a significant lesson that we have learned along the implementation of the project.
Now that these pilot initiatives have been implemented, what are the approaches to sustain the work that has been done?
Well, obviously, what we have done, we have established the platform. As you have well said, it's a pilot program. And a pilot program, it comes to an end. So there has to be this continuity. So we anticipate that there will be continuity after the PPCR, the DBRP has come into has been completed. And what we have done, like for instance, in the regards to the installation of the Hydromet network, there's a maintenance period after the commissioning of the instrumentation. But beyond this, we have signed an MOU with the government to continue continuous maintenance of the program, of the network. And that's how we have done it. As it relates to the water storage tank, we have done the same also. So there is always a life after the DVR becomes has been, but that particular pilot program has ceased from existence.
Policymakers, community leaders, and citizens all have a shared role in building climate resilience. Colin stresses the importance of policy, information sharing, and community ownership to achieve success at different levels of society.
Okay, I relates to the policymakers. My recommendation to them is that they put systems in place, policies in place, and to strengthen existing structures and systems. Like for instance, one of the programs that we undertook is the establishment of we call it the Dominode, which serves as the central repository for all metadata for Dominica. As it speaks now, we don't have a policy. There isn't an existing policy on data sharing. So data is being generated, it's going to be reposited on a platform, but income for this policy for data sharing is non-existent. So one of the recommendations, and we anticipate that and it has been recommended that the government, through whatever the existing ministry that's responsible for information sharing, proceed with establishment of the policy for data sharing. For the various stakeholders, for instance, the water company, the electricity company, we expect them to build on the platform, on this existing platform that have been created. And through this existing platform, they can better build resilience within the existing operation. For the stakeholders, which are, when I mean stakeholders, I mean the community members, the faith-based organization, those are beneficiaries also. And what we have advocated during our consultation is that they take ownership of these existing structures, of this existing investment, because this investment, they are not cheap. And as we know that sometimes there are persons that might take certain things for granted and they don't take ownership of it. They might vandalize it, destroy it. So what we have asked or employed, ask the stakeholders is that they take the community members, that they take ownership and guard this investment as it belongs, as if it belongs to them. So those are some of the recommendations that we have made to our stakeholders and partners.
Colin reminds us that partnership in achieving success is priceless.
Okay, I must say that it has been a pleasure working on the PPCR. I've been there from inception for the development of the concept. That's from 2012, and now we are in 2021. So the Dominica chapter of the PPCR came into existence, implementation in September of 2014, and I've been the project coordinator from then. We have 11 persons, members of staff at our office, and they have all played a significant role during the implementation of every aspect, every component, every intervention, even during the most difficult time, Tropical Storm Erica, Hurricane Maria, and also now with this COVID-19. So we have been working as a team to see this project, every aspect of this project come into fruition. I must compliment also our partners, stakeholders, for their assistance and their intervention. And also, not forgetting the regional track out of Mona. They have assisted us also in the further implementation of this project. We have worked as partner, also, and also the critical support that the government of Dominica and the World Bank has afforded to this project cannot go unmentioned. So I thank them for all their contribution that they have made to the implementation of this project.
The CaribClimate Podcast is produced by the Investment Plan for the Caribbean Regional Track of the Pilot Program for Climate Resilience, funded by the Inter-American Development Bank through the Climate Investment Funds and implemented by the Project Management Unit of the University of the West Indies Mona Office for Research and Innovation. The CaribClimate Podcast, using data to make climate resilience greater.